kick off with the re-emergence of Derek Chisora and his imminent future. Before we have a chat about it, listen to Derek himself last week on the show.
Yo, let me tell you something. Are you ready? Let me tell you something. You not ready? We are going back to Manchester, 13th of December, road to 50, shut down. Do you understand? So book your hotels, book your restaurants. Me and Queensbury, we are coming to shut it down in Manchester, 13th of December. Opponent will be announced soon. I had one, but the big boss took him. So you can't really argue when the big boss said what he wants. So it happened. So, but road to 50 in Manchester, shut down. Last Dance 2 happening in Manchester. Whoa.
Yes, I mean, book your restaurants, but don't invite Derek Chisora as a guest because he'll never pay his bill, right? There's a lot going on in the heavyweight division, but let's start with Derek. I mean, what do we think about Derek and his 50th fight and the direction of travel? We've got various names being thrown about and we'll ruminate on them. But landing on a bill with Moses Atoma headlining, what do you think of that for Derek, either one of you?
I think he's entitled to this 50th fight. I personally wanted to see him retire a few fights ago, but he's obviously proven that he's still got a bit left to offer. And
yeah,
that's the thing with heavyweight boxing. Obviously, it's a brutal game, and you can always risk overstaying your welcome. The fact that I think he's on with Matoma probably speaks volumes about where young Moses is in his career, and it's no disrespect to him whatsoever, but he's not quite the name that will be selling the stadiums out just yet.
Do you think that's part of it?
Yeah,
that's part of the thinking.
Without a doubt, I think it's to prop up the popularity and the notoriety,
the emergence
of Moses. So people get familiar with him. Derek sells tickets. He'll do or say something that'll get the public's imagination. I don't think it's in Derek's head his last fight. So even though he said it's a road to 50, he's no intention of finishing at this one. We thought that was in his 49th fight.
If he were to lose, though, if he were to lose...
yeah, but in Derek's head, common sense would tell you if he were to lose.
Yeah.
But in Derek's head, I don't think that's the case. I don't think they'll get him somebody that's, even if they put him in with a real headhunter, I don't think Derek wants to go out like that. I think he wants to go out on something high, but this won't be his last fight, especially if he doesn't lose.
Where are you on the Derek Chisora phenomenon? I remember Derek many years ago, Johnny, training over in Marbella, and I think it was preparing for the Vitaly Klitschko fight, or was with David Hay. I can't remember. It was around about that sort of time where Derek's popularity wasn't our Derek. He wasn't Del Boy. He wasn't the sort of personality that now sort of provides him as a national treasure. He's gone from what he was to War Chisora to a national treasure to a teddy bear in people's eyes. Are you surprised? I've got to know him over the years. I think he's a fabulous character in lots of ways. He is not what you think he is. He's a riddle wrapped up in a rhyme at times, isn't he?
I like that. I think Derek is a chameleon. And he's tried to mould and move with the time, from being a promoter, from being a presenter on his own YouTube channel, all that kind of things there. But he's just he's keeping himself relevant.
Yeah.
And he's done a good job with it as well. So now as a fighter, he's still going to earn a good buck. And he's thinking there's still an opportunity out there for me to earn some money. And that's what he's doing. He's selling himself. He'll keep doing that for as long as...
Until someone doesn't want it anymore.
Yeah, that's the case.
Where are you boys on... There's an indication that it's a Jagba that Moses Atoma is going to fight. Now, obviously, there was an expectation that Bakoli was going to roll through this fella, and he didn't. Right? So all of a sudden, this guy's currency's gone up a level. Where do we think, given what we've seen from Moses Atoma, and the question still abounds, and I don't know what you think, Johnny, I think myself and Paul have kicked it around about whether Moses Atoma can, the only thing we haven't seen is him take one on the whiskers. We've seen everything else. Right? And obviously we expected a certain level of performance from Dillian Whyte. So I still think there's questions that we haven't had asked or answered more likely from Moses Atoma. But he can only do what he can keep on doing, which is keep on winning. Do we like this fight for Moses at this stage?
So why not? I personally don't see what would be wrong in putting Moses in with Chisora. He should beat Dillian Whyte. We saw what Dillian Whyte did to Chisora a while ago. And I don't know whether Chisora would want that for his final fight, though, as we've spoke.
Yeah.
I don't think he will want to be seen as being served up to the young
absolutely not.
fighter on his 50th. And if he's looking for a farewell fight, then I think that type of opponent is ideal for him.
But in terms of Moses' fight against the Jagba, in terms of his development, I don't want to see Derek Chisora going in against Moses Atoma because there's a possibility that Moses Atoma will do to Derek.
I think we're getting excited about
normally.
Moses, and so getting far too excited and putting him in thinking, right, what about this one? The boy's he's still a boy, still developing.
Sure.
And the job he did against Dylan was an amazing job, but remember the Dylan he went in with.
Indeed.
So all of a sudden everybody's getting giddy and excited, and he did a great job. But I think there still needs to be, still needs to step with caution. Now, Frank, regardless of what you say about Frank, he's very cautious.
He's an excellent
very
matchmaker.
Smart.
Yeah.
He's a very good matchmaker. Time has always been on his side. So they've got to be, he's as far as he's concerned, he'll make sure he'll pick somebody make sure
they have the time with Moses as well to build him up. They have the time to build him into something where he can sell the co-op out or he can sell the O2 out. At the moment, everyone in boxing has known about Atoma for years. We knew about him when he was 15, 16 years of age, knocking grown men out. Everyone knows about him in boxing, but it's that crossover thing which Derek has done over the last few years, hasn't he? He's managed
Is
to
it a massive thing,
the
do you think,
public.
Johnny, in the business of show? Because Moses Atoma is a young man. I think he's got a bit of personality, but it's not been shown just yet.
Yeah.
What's been shown is his boxing credentials. Do you think he's going to have the chops to make that crossover that Tyson Fury made, whether it be good, bad or indifferent, and whether it, with Anthony Joshua, that cut through and turned him just from being an elite fighter into
a household name?
Correct.
No, I don't think that's his personality. I think more of the talking will be done by people around him rather than him. I think he's a well-mannered young man that can fight, that likes to fight.
I don't think he wants it, do you? I don't think he wants that line.
So he doesn't want it. He's not. That doesn't attract him. He just wants to get in there and beat people up.
Does he need it? Do you think he needs it? Because I don't think Tyson had a great personality, did he? Tyson just went in there and blasted everybody out. When you got out of the ring, normally what you got was a mouthful of abuse.
Yeah, but and again that captured people's thinking. You either loved him or loathed him. Yeah. But I think with Moses, he doesn't. It's show business. Yeah. And then if he wants to elevate to the levels of Anthony Joshua and people like that, or Tyson Fury and people like that, he's got to be willing to play the villain or play the hero. Yeah. He's not that kid.
No.
So I think that's where...
I don't think he's vanilla, though.
No, he's not. He's a very intelligent, level-headed young man. And so therefore, it's going to be down to the people around him to create the narrative.
Curate it, yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to Derek and talk about his potential opponent. Frankwarren was on talkSPORT the other day giving us maybe a framework.
Who's he going to fight, Frank?
I don't know yet. It's something we've got to sort out. We've got quite a way to go yet before we officially announce that. So... but when we do. We've got some great cards coming up, but I just can't give you any information on that at the moment because we were looking at an opponent, but that opponent's no longer available. So we've got to fish around and hunt for a new one.
Would a man who's looking for a rebuild fight be available and be in your thoughts, and he'd be Daniel Dubois?
He's always in my thoughts, but at the moment he has an injury, so we'll see what happens.
We got Deontay Wilder floating around as well. Is he in the picture?
No, not on one of our shows. He isn't, not at the moment.
Derek Chisora, I mean, I get the impression and understanding that it's likely to be Daniel Dubois that he's going in against. Has that been beating around your neck of the woods? Have you heard that particular rumour?
No, the name that was getting passed around was Wilder.
Yeah.
But not Dubois, no.
Yeah, and I think Wilder would be the safer bet for Derek because Wilder is shot.
I agree.
And be the safer bet for Derek. He's a big name.
Yeah,
he's a hero name. You can come out and say, I've done this to Wilder. At one point, he was one of the most feared heavyweights out there.
That could be a
But isn't it established, though, boys? I mean, I know that we live in a world where sometimes the blind lead the deaf, right? But aren't we in a situation where everyone knows that Wilder's done? I mean, his last 2 or 3 fights, they've been... it's a bit like the former artist that was Prince. It's the former boxer that was Deontay Wilder. I mean, I wouldn't want to get in a ring with him still at this stage, but notwithstanding...
It still captures the imaginations of those that don't know.
And you'd be surprised with the amount of people who don't really know what they're looking at when they're talking about him. And they'll see one good bit of glimpse of what he used to be and he hasn't lost it. It's clear as anyone, it's clear as the nose on your face.
But it's not going to be Wilder, is it? So if it is indeed the fishing expedition that I've thrown it out there for, and I think it's a bit more than the fishing expedition, it's Daniel Dubois. What do you think to that for either one of them?
I think Daniel would, on a good day, walk through him. But Derek doesn't give up.
But who's ever walked through Derek?
Yeah, I know. Because Daniel's strong, he's aggressive. But Derek is like Teflon. You can't get rid of this guy.
Sure.
And I think he's in a strong position to break Daniel's heart. That'd be an interesting fight because he's capable of breaking his heart.
There's a bit of devil's advocate to play there because he actually could break Dubois' heart, which I've made my feelings clear on what I think of it. It's there to be broken, but I think he would get the reactions of Chisora early when he starts landing in front of the target. And Derek's tough as all boots. Derek's game is in it. He's one of the bravest fights I've ever seen in British boxing, especially in the heavyweights. But someone like Dubois teeing off on him, I wouldn't like to see.
What do you make of the change of... I mean, just pick up Dubois for a second before we finish with Derek. Have you had a reaction to Don Charles's departure from Daniel Dubois? Do you think it's hard yards on him?
You know what? I felt sorry for Don, and I actually spoke to him on a podcast, and he was still beating the drum for all the debacle before that, and then they dropped him. And I thought it was unfair, unjust, and it won't be until probably this time next year where Don will say, you know what they did was wrong. How they conducted the run up to the fight was completely wrong. The guy had not been paid. The guy was still holding on by his fingernails to his job. So give it time now. Now he's got to fall on his sword and say, well, actually, I said it because of this one. Yeah, I don't believe he believed there was any good in that setup for Daniel running into. Any coach worth his salt would never support that. But Don was supporting it because I thought, you haven't been paid yet and you're holding on to your job. Now, ask him the same question in a year's time and I bet you he will proper throw the old man under the bus.
Talk to me about his father and what you view on his father is. I mean, obviously there was a lot of reaction, Johnny, to the situation leading up to the Usyk fight in terms of the immediate situation, the post-fight party, which was a party. It wasn't a gathering, it was a party. Don played the game and kept his counsel, and I told him when he came on the show beforehand because he was unhappy, don't throw yourself under the bus, John. I'm quite happy to take the content, but don't make a difficult situation for yourself, probably even worse. And then you've got the situation coming into the arena or to Wembley Stadium where you've got apparently the old man saying to Daniel, you know, these people don't come in, you're not fighting. And then just a general overall overriding aspect of how much Daniel looks to his father, his father's influence. No one should deny the influence of a father in their sons' lives and their sons' careers. But we've discussed it, myself and Paul, in great detail. We talked to Bomac last week about how a corner should be in terms of communication and who looks to who and when people speak. What's your takeaway about the whole phenomenon that sort of reverberates around Daniel and his father?
Well, I've got to be smart about how I use my words here because people are getting solicitors' letters. So it was one of the most idiotic things you can ever set up for any young man going into a fight, in such a big fight. One of the most idiotic things to get a guy to be around. If you're going into war, you're not going to surround yourself by cowards. You're going to surround yourself by people of the same mentality.
Absolutely.
One of the most idiotic things is to put your son in such an environment to say, right, son, it's too relaxed, you to take your mind off this. No, it isn't. You want to be in war mode. You want to get at, you want to be able to get in that ring and think, this is what I'm going to do. I think, personally, his dad's an idiot. I think it was one of those stupid things he could ever do. And I looked at Don, I thought, you are disrespecting all the hard work Don Charles has done with this man for the last 3 months by putting him in that environment. Because if that's not right, it doesn't matter how physically strong and prepared you are for a fight.
Yeah,
so he knows his son. And he's thinking maybe that'll get the best out of his son.
That's the saying that wound me up the most, though. They said it worked for the fight before.
Yeah.
Like,
so he got away with it the fight before.
Yeah.
But
Anthony, because they were citing it as, well, we did it once before, we can do it again, right?
Exactly. And I just think he's got to remember, boxing was around a long time before him. And you can play games in every sport, golf, football, tennis. You can't play games in boxing because you get turned over. And his dad made a calculated risk with his son. And I thought, in years to come, I don't know if he will look back and think, I got that wrong. I don't know if he's that kind of guy. But common sense will kick in. I thought it was one of the most stupid things he could ever do.